The National Population Commission Secretariat moves to revitalize religious and traditional communication networks within the Lower River region under a new initiative led by the SWEED Project. Authorities want to restructure and adequately train participants on their mandates as religious and traditional heads in communities. Binta Cham, principal researcher at the National Population Secretariat Commission, gives a brief summary of the forum.
The purpose of this training is to capacitate them to increase their knowledge about some of the issues that they need to disseminate to their communities that they come from. So today, we were able to secure a funding from the SWEED project through the National Population Commission Secretariat under the subcomponent 1, where these structures are part of, to teach or to train them about the implication of sexual and gender-based violence, which includes child marriage, the issues of rape, and also FGM. So aside that, we also going to train them on the legal compendium.
Usman Jah, attending the two-day training, outlined the medical practitioner's report, saying Islam is totally against all forms of harmful practices within society.
I am here to at least relate what have been learned from the reports of medical practitioners, to relate it to Islam, and to quote verses from the Holy Quran, to quote hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying that the same thing is what the Holy Quran urged us to do, and it's the same thing that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam urged us to do, because any harmful practice should not be in our society. It's haram.
Discussions here, participants centered on the health impacts of gender-based violence and other harmful practices in communities. Pastor Per Anthony Mendy of the Church of Pentecost in LRR said the Bible discourages all forms of injustice and violence.
Because we are all created in the image of God. So the Bible stamped it, and the Bible said that, we should respect people. I cannot serve God wholeheartedly without respecting the human beings that I see who are God's own image. So the Bible stamps against some of these social injustice and violence.
Governor Sidi Lamin Pa of the Lower River region challenged both men and women to always perform their responsibilities and avoid violence, describing the event as a crucial step to mitigate community challenges.
But if you go to specifics, we see many times sexual and gender-based violence at homes is caused by both. If you look at the side of the female, women at some point deny their husbands of their sexual rights for some reason. Depends on what you explain. And as a result, the man might say, okay, this is a family issue, let me suppress my problem and keep it. And if you keep this for too long in you, eventually you can no longer keep it. It might even fall into the children. This can happen. Sometimes you become very lazy in the way you think. What do we see is the end product, the impact of what happened. But where does it start from? I'm not only saying on the side of women. If you look at men also, it happens on the side of men. Because men in some moment fail to take their responsibilities at home.
The 2 days of the dialogue witnessed similar discussions between organizers and regional traditional communicators, where similar engagements on gender-based violence was conducted. Traditional communicators say the initiative is vital and timely in the protection of women and girls against all forms of violence. Usman Balde, GRT's News.